Gekko is the 22nd agent added to the Valorant protocol. Ever since joining, he's been a fan favorite, especially with his creatures, who he holds very dear.
My crew are not monsters. They will never be monsters, period.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
Oh yeah! Monster on the loose!
Yeah, I guess he kinda contradicts himself, but he's only human. Or is he a Radiant? Well, in this video, we'll get into that as well as how he joined the protocol and his relationship with other agents on the team. Gekko's real name is Mateo Amarendérez de la Fuente. Sorry if I mispronounced his name. Nonetheless, Gekko is a Mexican-American born and raised in Los Angeles, California. We know Gekko can ride skateboards as we saw in his trailer, as well as from his gun buddy in his agent battle pass. And just to remind people, player cards aren't always canon to the story of Valorant, but in this one we see Gekko playing the piano. He's a bit of an artist too based on the teasers we saw, and him showing off his graffiti skills in the trailer. He lives pretty close to Kingdom West facilities, the same facilities where residents were reporting weird activities. This led Gekko to break into it for unknown reason. He was able to escape through a portal, and it has been hinted that to have been opened by one of the creatures he escaped with. He now has a close connection to them, and I think the portal he used to escape could be related to Iso's and Yoru's powers, which I'll get into later on in the video. Quickly after this incident, the protocol noticed this and started his recruitment process, where he kept in contact with them, mainly talking to Reyna and Brimstone. They saw potential in him due to his ability to control and communicate with these radivores, which are creatures altered by Radianite. Mosh is a green shaped like egg with large eyes, and he explodes on contact to create a field harmful to those in it. Dizzy is a small blue armadillo-like creature that can float and shoot a blue projectile that blinds people. Wingman is yellow and resembles an axolotl. Out of all the radivores, he seems to be the most independent, which might explain why he's allowed to carry things like a spike and Deadlock's gadget. Lastly, we have Thrash, who is similar to a shark. She, as well as Gekko's other creatures, have a knack for busting into Radianite supplies and eating them.
No, you cannot eat the Radianite. Okay, maybe just a little.
Thrash is also able to be controlled by Gekko, which makes a lot of people ask the question, is Gekko a Radiant? Well, according to Sage, he doesn't quite fit their classification, and his existence may need them to expand on what the definition of a Radiant is. However, we can say that his tattoos glow every time his creatures are active in game, which may not be that big of a deal, but in Deadlock's cinematic trailer where she is bitten by the radivore bear, a substance starts to appear that is similar to Gekko's tattoos glowing. She then starts to hear a voice as she begins to lose consciousness. The voice says, now, this voice could be anything or anyone, but what if it's from the bear itself? The same bear that got trapped by Deadlock. Maybe only those who are linked to radivores can communicate with them. Kinda like how Gekko can communicate with his creatures.
Sorry, inside joke. Hey Neon, Mosh kinda likes you. Chamber, don't listen to her. You look great.
Would this connection justify calling him a Radiant? Or is he something completely different from a human and a Radiant? Because at the end of the day, Radiants are humans that have had their DNA transformed through Radianite. Radivores are the same, but there are lower sentient animals transformed by Radianite. We can assume that Gekko has been transformed in some type of way after meeting his creatures, making him more Radiant than human. But what do you think? Should Gekko be classified as a regular human, or even a new category that describes the symbiosis between humans and radivores? This also makes me think, are there others out there in the world that are like Gekko? And if there are, I think that's a huge potential for a new agent or even an NPC character. Just imagine if one of the bad guys have a similar ability to Gekko, but their connection with radivores is more parasitic than helpful, like in Gekko's case. And I did mention Deadlock earlier, so I think it'd be time to talk about Gekko's relationship with some agents. Him and Deadlock did not get off to such a good start.
You must authorize their detainment.
Tell Deadlock she's gotta chill. Her cold stares are killing our vibe. Appreciate it.
But thanks to the Sunset trailer, maybe we can say that Deadlock is a little bit more trusting of Gekko's creatures. I made a video about her backstory if you want to see as to why she has such a great disdain towards Gekko's creatures. Besides Deadlock, we can say Gekko gets along with pretty much everyone else in the protocol, especially Brimstone, who he shows a lot of respect towards, and we can see in the Radiant Entertainment System home screen that they play competitively with each other. He also asks about knocking down a wall to make space for his creatures.
Ayo, Brimmy Brim, hear me out. I love the room, for real, but like my crew needs their own space sometimes and it's a little crowded right now, so check this. What if we knock down some of the walls, combine my room with the one next door, double it up? Eh? Let me know what you think.
It would be funny if the wall belonged to Yoru's room and now they were roommates based on this voice line.
Of course you've seen Yoru before, we live with him. What are you talking about?
But that's just a theory. However, what if this is a connection to the Interverse and you're being able to hop into different dimensions, as well as the fact that maybe one of Gekko's creatures could open a portal too? Again, this is just a theory, but Gekko's creatures have the ability to see the world in a different way than us. So it could be possible that Gekko's creatures saw Yoru in the past, hopping from one place to another, just like how Gekko's creatures see Astra differently.
What do you mean Astra is glowing? She's just standing here. Come on, focus up.
In one of the teasers to Gekko, we see a text message from someone named Coach with a wave emoji, which we can assume is Harbor, as well as from Gekko's voice lines.
Hey, Coach, this counts as training for today, right? Right? Those are some crazy ass moves, Coach.
Gekko also mentioned how him and KJ are trying their best with the Radiant supplies and his creatures eating them.
Hey, Sarge. ¿Qué onda? Look, I know there's some concern about my crew dipping into our Radiantite reserves, especially with what's going on, but listen, they eat what they eat. KJ and I are watching their intake. There's no change in their behavior, nothing different. I get that people are jumpy, but to be honest, like, no one really knows anything about my critters. They're just guessing. And I really think it's fine. So, could you run some interference? Give the official okay? I don't know, something? Would go a long way. Thanks.
Then there is Reina, who is very protective and fond of Gekko in a mother-son kind of way.
Reina, you keep like glancing at me. Why you smiling?
Sorry, cariño. You remind me of someone. Brimstone, Deadlock will not harm Gekko's friends. Understood? I would hate for our new recruit to make a poor first impression.
Gekko also feels close to Reina since he even asked her about his thoughts on dyeing his hair. Despite the Eminem and Ash Ketchum comparisons, we can say Gekko is a calm and laid-back individual who is kind and supportive. He doesn't even like taking out his Omega doubles.
Yeah, girl, that's us over there. Try not to think about it.
He can be quite expressive too with his artwork, but competitive as well. With all these things said, we can see why he was so instantly liked by the Valorant community. But who do you guys want me to cover next? I had a lot of fun looking into Gekko's story, and I can't wait to see what else they have in store for Gekko. But till next time, y'all stay safe, and I'll see you later.